Well, I currently own a Juki F600, and I love it. And I also have a featherweight, which is currently not working. And I can't remember the year of my featherweight. And I also have a machine, a vintage machine. Jill, do you remember the number? It's a Singer. It's green. I was with our mother when she bought it on one of our shop hops before our annual Ruby's Remnants trips. And then, where was it, Jill? She bought it?
It was in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
It was in the window of a quilt shop in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Cool.
And she bought it. And I carried it out to the car for her. So, and I now have that.
And it is
cool.
super heavy.
It's super heavy, but it's super cool. It's like a 3/4 size. I've got to think of the.
Very cool.
I just can't remember off the top of my head. So I don't use that one very often, but sometimes I do.
And why did you choose the Juki?
I sewed on when I decided I was going to take up quilting here in New Orleans, I went to Sears and bought a Kenmore that was on sale for $300. It was a great machine, and Janome made Kenmores at that time, and so I was able to get a lot of information off the Janome websites and all about it. And it was a good machine, and I sewed on it for years. It was very steady, and but I then decided while I was working, I wanted to get a good machine that would sort of last me the rest of my sewing life. So I went to a store here at a Metairie that sold different brands and sewed on different ones, including Janome's. I thought maybe I'd want a Janome. And but then I sewed on the Juki, and it had 2 lights, which I really liked, and it had some other features I really liked, and that's why I ended up choosing it. And I decided they had one that fit the price point. I had decided, to spend.
Yeah, I have the lower model of that one, and I totally.
They're wonderful.
They're very smooth. There's something about them that just there's an elegance to them. All right, tell me about your machines.
Well, as I said, my mammy bought me a machine way back when I got married in 1979, and it was a white. It was a new white machine.
She loved white machines.
I didn't sew. So it is still sitting out in the shed in its cabinet.
Oh.
I know. I feel bad about that now. I didn't for years because I didn't sew. But when I did start sewing, my mom bought me I'm going to say it was probably a Singer from Walmart, because, you don't know if you're going to keep sewing,
Right.
So she bought me a sewing machine, and I still have it, and I've sewed on it for a few years. And then when I was going to be laid off from my job and I got my severance, I took a little bit of my money and she bought a new machine and I bought a new machine. She bought a new brother, a computerized brother, and I bought a baby lock quilting machine. I mean, like it was Crafter's Choice or something. And so I have sewed on that machine all this time. And since Mom passed away, I have her brother machine, and I just kind of go back and forth between the two. Along the way, I have acquired a few more machines.
It happens.
She rescues.
Well, I just saw, there's like a for sale site on Facebook for a community, and I don't know why, but I saw this dark green sewing machine in a cabinet for like $20, and it said Hudson on it. I never heard of that, so I bought it and brought it home. Of course, it didn't well. I plugged it in and like sparks flew. But I found out through research it's a Singer clone. So I learned all about those clone machines, or badged machines they're sometimes called, made over in Japan after the war, and they would put any name of any company that wanted to sell them. So Hudson was a department store. So anyway, there's a big thing about badged machines or clones.
Tell her the story about Mama and the...
I haven't got there yet.
Okay, all right. So you got the
or
Hudson.
if you want to tell it,
No,
can.
you tell it.
So I have that Hudson, yes. And prior to that, I mentioned that we had our playhouse.
Right.
Well, before we have our big playhouse, so it's a big storage building, we had a little tiny one. And at one point, Mom and I both sewed in there, had all our stuff in there, all our fabric, but we saw wanted to have a couple of decorations. We had a little loft up there and wanted some decorations, and so we were, just had that in mind, and we were at a garage sale one Saturday in Tulsa, I guess, or Broken Arrow, and we saw this little sewing machine, a little toy sewing machine, and it was marked $7. And my mother, being the tight person she was, made this guy come down off of a ladder, like off the roof, down a ladder, to see if he would take less than $7. And he took 3. And so we took it home, and we had it had a little case, and so we had it sitting up for a while, and as the years went by and we learned more, one day we figured out that was a little featherweight. It wasn't a toy.
It's a white featherweight.
It's a white featherweight. Worth a lot more than $3. It would have been well worth more than $7. So that was her featherweight, which I was going to buy for $7.
But
she got it for $3. So,
and I would sew on it when I went there to visit them.
Yes,
so great.
And then on the same sale site, some girl was cleaning out her closet, and she had been given her aunt's featherweight collection. And she just kept them in the closet until she was going to get rid of them. So I bought another black featherweight off of her, and actually hooked my aunt up with one as well. So I have 2 featherweights. I have the Hudson, I have the Baby Lock, and I have the Brother. Obviously, I'm not loyal to one brand. When Mom passed, she also had a sewing machine in Arkansas at their home near my brother. And I brought it home, and I think it's a Singer of some sort, a newer Singer. And then I kept a sewing machine cabinet in the house that was hers, that has a Singer of some sort in it. It's like a touch and sew, I think.
A beautiful, that had been
beautiful
refitted
cabinet.
in a gorgeous old antique cabinet.
Yeah, the cabinet's beautiful. The machine, not so much. And then the other day, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and up popped this little sewing machine and cabinet for $20, and it was a Necky, a vintage Necky, and so now I have that.
It's so cool.
I have a guy in Broken Arrow that he has serviced most of my featherweights, and when I tried the Necky, it didn't run. It didn't have the bobbin case, so I'm going to take that to him and have him fix it up so it'll sew.
Now, when you sew, do you see differences when you sew on
I haven't even sewn on those machines.
Yeah. Those are just
but I want him able to sew. And I go to a sewing group once a month, and I would like to be able to take one of the featherweights and
that sounds great.
and sew on it there. So I want them in running order.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah, anyway.
And there were other machines that were that Mama had collected that you sort of had to disperse.
Oh, well, I kept the white featherweight
Yeah.
because I was going to buy it for $7.
Yes.
And there was a treadle, a machine and a treadle, and our cousin Lynn took that. I think that was...
Well, and there was the one that was Aunt Marie's.
Oh, yeah. Our great Aunt Marie.
That had the big wooden curvy shell.
I don't know if it was
I can't remember.
It was an old Singer.
Yeah.
But it was kind of all in pieces, and we made sure that her great-granddaughter, got it.
It's very cool. All right, so why do you quilt? What is it about quilting that you like? What is it that you don't like about quilting too? What parts do you like? When you're making a quilt, why do you quilt? What is it about quilting that's opposed to something else?
I just like how creative it is, and how you can sort of make it your own, and how it's like a gift that you can give to somebody, and I do like how my skills have improved over the years. It's something that's kind of endless. You can always learn something.
That's true.
it because it is a good hobby. I think I got laid off from my job, and then I ended up taking care of my parents for several years, and it was something I could do with Mom, and it was a good hobby. And
that's why I started. I did a lot of other crafts, but the quilting I could do with my 5-year-old, and I couldn't do cross stitch. We tried all kinds of things, but it turned out that those were too difficult. But the quilting we could do together, so it was a nice way to spend time together. Yeah, it's interesting, old and young. But
Yes.
it's kind of a lifespan.
And since I have a love for quilts, whether I made them or not, I think that's and to just be able to make something that looks that neat. I've never done that before. So
I love the history of it.
Yeah.
and my least favorite thing
Yeah. What's your least favorite?
is binding a quilt.
Me too.
So therefore, I probably have 20 quilts that are tops that need to, now these that I made, that need to be either quilted or quilted and bound. And I probably
do you do the quilting at all? Do you like doing the quilting part?
I used to do it.
Yeah.
We have a cousin who has a long arm machine, and when she bought it, the deal was she asked me before she bought it, would I quilt with her? Yes, I will. And I did for probably 7 or 8 years. But her quilt machine always has problems, and I have to drive to Tulsa to quilt.
Right, that's hard,
Not
right?
convenient,
Not
and also it's computerized. So all you got to do, you don't have to do a lot to do the design. You can also do free motion, but because I'm not there to practice, or it's not with me to practice, I can't, I haven't got that skill at all. And I am not a naturally creative person. I can't see the colors, I don't have that creative brain. So a lot of it is I really have to practice at it.
Yeah.
So
She does have a creative brain.
So I have not done quilting for a couple of years now.
So you send them out when you get a chance. You send them out.
Yes, and one of our cousins that is in our guild recently bought a couple of them.
One of the ones that had to buy a sewing machine when Julie organized the guild. She didn't sew at all.
Yeah.
She has a long arm, and she's sewing for other people now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's awesome. She gets a family discount.
No. Oh, I wouldn't ask her to do that.
Show her the quilt that she just did for me.
Yeah?
She just did a quilt for me for the first time.
Oh, she quilted it for you?
Jill and I made a sister quilt.
Yeah.
I have had a lot of Judy's quilts quilted for her.
Yeah.
She sends them to me. She leaves them with me. I get the raw end of the deal because I have to deliver them, pick them up, tell her I have to make bigger backings because she doesn't measure.
Yeah.
Those.
This is my creative part. I don't measure. I just figured it.
She sews circles around me.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Because she can finish projects
not true.
and not me.
Interesting.
Not that way.
I do love the textile part of it, and I do love the creative part of it, and envisioning stuff. Jill is, the colors she puts together are fabulous.
Yeah.
And I always admire them and what she does. So she sells herself short. Plus, her sewing skills are better than mine. She can sew a straight top stitch, and I've had to really work at that, to keep it straight.
I understand that.
And to get my 1/4 inch seam, it took me years. So
1/4 inch seam is so difficult.
it is.
Why is that? It doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Like,
I think it's because you got to be so consistent.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just hard for some people. Some people just do it automatically.
I don't know where that book is.
Okay, well we'll find it and show you. But
All right. So the part you hate the most is binding. So
Me.
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Mama used to do our bindings. She liked to do them.
She was my binding
Oh, that's
person,
so
and
sweet.
she did it
And
by
projects,
hand.
right? Yeah.
She and I'm left-handed,
Yeah.
and I just can't make that stitch.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen for me.
Yeah.
So I do bind, but it's by machine. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
I tried to bind by machine and I hated it.